Okay, so in this video we're going to talk about how we decide what chords can work down here, which chords will actually harmonize these notes. Okay, and to do that, I'm going to just take you through each note of this G major scale and talk about which chords will harmonize each one. So here's our G major scale with the scale degrees written in above them. So starting with the first note of the G major scale, my tonic note, I could harmonize that with a number of different chords. So that note, that given note, could be the root of the chord, or the third of the chord, or the fifth of the chord, or even the seventh of the chord. And that would look something like this. So this is still treble clef here in the key of G. So in the key of G, that would be a 1 chord. If it's acting as the third of the chord, that would be a 6 chord. If it's acting as the fifth of the chord, then that is a 4 chord. And if it were acting as the seventh of the chord, then we're dealing with a 2 chord, 2/7. Okay, so those are my options to harmonize any G in this whole song that we're working with. Any first scale degree could be harmonized with a 1 chord, a 6 chord, a 4 chord, or a 2/7 chord. Okay, so maybe I'll just transfer those to right here. We could use a 1, a 4, a 6. Wait, I did that in the wrong order. Or a 2/7. Okay, so then my second scale degree, same process. If I just use that note as the root, the third, the fifth, or the seventh, I can see which notes or which chords can go with that note. So as the root, it would be a 2. As the third, we're dealing with a 7 diminished. As the fifth, that's a 5 chord. And as the seventh, that would be a 3/7. Okay, since we never use 3s, we're just going to leave that one off of our list of possibilities. Oh, I didn't even put the 7 on there. And we're going to put down here a 2, 7 diminished, or 5. Those are my options for that second scale degree. Now for the third scale degree, we have, this would be a 3 chord. We're not going to use that. This one would be a 1. And this would be a 6. And this would be a 4/7. The only 7s we're going to generally use in harmonizing a melody or in composing a piece would be 5/7 most commonly, sometimes a 2/7, sometimes a 7/7. So 4/7 we're not going to use either. So 1 and 6 basically are our options for the third scale degree. So let's look at our fourth scale degree. If that C is the root of the chord, then it's a 4 chord. If it's the third, then I'm dealing with a 2. If it's the fifth, this is a 7. And if it is the seventh, this would be a 5/7. So all of these options are good ones, are viable options to use in your harmony. So we can put all of those up there. And then we'll move on to our fifth scale degree. So this could be a 5 chord, a 3 chord, which we will not use, a 1 chord, or a 6/7. 6/7 we won't use. So we've got either a 5 or a 1 to harmonize the fifth scale degree. Now on the 6th scale degree, and I hope you understand the process that I'm doing here, and that you don't have to do this for every single melody harmonization that you'll ever do. But on the 6th scale degree, we could harmonize that with a 6, a 4, a 2, or a 7/7, which we can use. So all 4 of those are also viable options in our harmony. Doing the same thing with the 7th scale degree, we can have a 7 diminished, a 5, a 3, which won't happen, and a 1/7, which also won't happen. So 7th scale degree, that leading tone, anytime you have the leading tone in your melody, it's going to be this dominant function chord of a 7 or a 5. So those are my options. Anytime I have that 1st scale degree in the melody, I can use one of those 4 chords underneath it to harmonize it. Okay, anytime I have a 5th scale degree in the melody, I'm going to use a 5 or a 1. And we choose these options according to the chord progression chart.